Hello, and welcome to Spirit Island Sundays, where we play Spirit Island on Sunday. Handelabra believes in civil rights for everyone and in being as inclusive as possible, so any comments or activity actively work against those goals are not welcome and will not be tolerated. You can follow us at Handelabra Games on Twitch or Handelabra on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. You can follow me personally at Logic Dolphin on Twitch, Discord, YouTube, or pretty much any avenue. Sentinels of the Multiverse, Sentinels of Earth Prime, Bottom of the Ninth, One Deck Dungeon, Aeon's End, Spirit Island, and Horizons of Spirit Island are all available on Steam, iOS, and Android devices. One Deck Dungeon is also available on Switch, and One Deck Galaxy is in active development. You can find more information on those games at handelabra.com. So, new week, new me. Well, just me. It is just me playing Spirit Island. My biggest fans. And what am I gonna do today? Should I do a quick play? I think I did a quick play last week, did I? Maybe not. No. Any suggestions from the peanut gallery? Anyone that wants to see a particular game? I can set up a particular game. If all else fails, I'll probably just do quick play. I think I did like a Horizons game with like a random setup. Not random, not random, but I mean like a board configuration that was interesting. I did quick play last week. Okay, never mind. I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't remember what I had for breakfast. All right, you want a Horizons game. Also, hello, Seamus. Seamus, the person who is usually playing, but has a sore throat today and will not be participating. Otherwise, he'll just be participating in chat. I don't know words. I'm trying to say words like I'm a speech person, but I'm not a speech person. I can't say words. Horizons game, let's do 2. That's like the minimum for like compatibility between two spirits, or synergy between two spirits. I'm saying words again. Any complexity, random adversary. I got Sunbright Whirlwind, currently Serpent, but I guess that's gonna switch out. We have been given Brandenburg, Prussia, and the rest is boilerplate. So Devouring Teeth, Eyes Watch, Fathomless Mud, and Rising Heat. Hello, Licky. Would you like to see Devouring Teeth, Eyes Watch, Fathomless Mud, or Rising Heat? Place your vote now. Devouring Teeth has been voted upon. Okay. So with Sunbright Whirlwind, my presence placement pushes an Explorer or a Dahan. With Devouring Teeth, my damage dealing powers do +1 damage. But eyes are fun. Not right now. Maybe next game. We'll see. I promise you that if I do play another game, I'll play with the 3 other Horizon spirits in some capacity. And Brandenburg, Prussia. Maybe a scenario. Who knows? What do we feel like today? Maybe we just don't do scenario. Let's do base adversary. And let's do 5, because I'm normally just click 4, but let's do 5. So, no loss condition. Escalation on each board with buildings. Add a town to a land without towns. And we have an additional town to land number 3. And the invader deck is set up as 1-3-2-2-2-3-3-3-3. Very thin. So we have to win very quickly. Also, the fear cards are 4, 4, and 3. And it's difficulty 9. So is it possible? Who knows? It's impossible to know. They're exploring the sands. And this is the only stage 1 card. Next we have stage 3. It's stage 3. So sands. What shall we do? Well, let's remind ourselves what these powers do because, well, I'm still not 100% familiar with these spirits. I'm slightly more familiar than I was when I started Horizons, though. So death approaches from beneath the surface. Slow power range 1 invaders. Potentially gathers a presence. Deals damage. And that is +1 damage, but total. So if I hit the first innate, it'll be 2 damage. If I hit the second innate, it'll be 4 damage total. And if I hit the third innate, it will be 8 damage total. Because 1 + 1 + 2 + 4. Was it 1 + 2 + 1 + 1? If it was 1 in the chandelier, 2 in the dining room door, then it'll be 1 + 2 + 1 + 1, not 1 + 1 + 2 + 1. Anyway, Sunbright Whirlwind. Slow, range 1, any. Violent windstorms. Pushes explorer. Fear pushes explorers towns. For each invader pushed by this power, 1 damage, and the land is pushed 2, and then 4 damage total. And it's all cumulative. Let's see. Powers here. Gift of Furious Might. Target spirit might deal +3 damage this turn with one of its damage dealing powers. Defend 9. 2 fear if invaders are present. Push 2 Dahan. 1 fear. Gather up to 1 explorer town. 1 fear. 3 damage to explorer towns only. But also, target spirit gets +1 range with all of their powers. If you target another spirit, they gain 1 energy. Target spirit may make 1 power which says push or gather fast for this turn. If you target another spirit, they gain 1 energy. Choose up to 5 different invaders and target land, 1 damage to each of them. Choose up to 5 explorers, towns, Dahan. Push them to as many different lands as possible. Alright, exciting. So, what to do? So, like, what I've been liking is going up the card plays track with Sunbright and, like, focusing a lot on gaining energy this way. Allows for a lot of powers. Devouring Teeth. I feel like unlocking 2 card plays is definitely correct. I like elements a lot. Elements for hitting the innates more easily. You're always placing presence. You only get power card over here. Probably want energy on turn 1. You don't need to defend this turn, no, but damage to explorers towns could be helpful for clearing out D4 if we want to go that route. It is range 0 though. If I go into D7, I can't kill the city that they build, but I can damage the town and explorer, and then I have a defend 9. Isn't that the new puppy? New puppy? Oh, the defend focused Dahan spirit. That's definitely it's eyes. Eyes provides a defend, or provides a gather 1 Dahan when defending. Fathomless Mud turns builds into explorers. And then there's Stone and Sand, where your sacred sites, towns and cities have -1 health, or invaders have -1 health. Technically the explorer too, although not too often, right? Or is it just town cities? Maybe, I don't know. I mean, there are Dahan in D7, so we either defend it or deal with the stuff, because that's like the priority. Not necessarily caring about C2. C6, I could do Gift of Windsped Steps to do Violent Windstorms fast, and that gets rid of that guy. If I were to eschew what I just said about gaining energy, I could put a Sunbright Presence in D4 to push that Explorer out. And then... Or no, I have range here. This is my presence. Or I can just do that. Okay. I saw the presence in C6. I didn't see the Sacred Site in C3. Alright, you can go into... what's his face? Devouring Teeth land, because Teeth is hungry. Do you want power or energy? Probably energy. +2... Unless you're gonna play these +1 energy... Or sorry, 1 energy cards. I suppose we could do Herd Towards to stop the D7 city. Gather the town into D5. They will still build... So what I mean by that is if I combo it with the make that power fast, is what I'm thinking. Before someone says, but that's a slow power logic. This is a slow power. You can't stop the city build. It's slow. And this is the one that does +3 damage, which the only damage dealing power that Sunbright has is Tempest. I could actually stop that. I mean, I kill the city in C2 with that. And thereby stop the Ravage. Is that worth? Is it? It's always worth killing cities, right? Allegedly. Saves the disease too. It's probably worth. Wasn't I saying I was gonna do C6 fast? So I was gonna use this on myself, but I was also gonna use it here, so maybe I'm not doing both. But I mean, this also stops a build. This stops the stage 3 build, which is, there's a lot of lands to worry about next turn, huh? So I could just gain a power. I'm playing this for sure with Tempest. I guess +1 range wouldn't be bad, because then I could damage the things in D7. For that, I would need energy. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to put this presence down somewhere. I need sacred sites. Not currently. I do have a lot of range 0s. Maybe want to grow into D7 to defend that next turn. Can already do that with that growth. Grow into D2. Because that's a city. Want to be with the buildings. So plus damage, and then doing the defend next turn, so I'm doing that one. I'm not really thinking about elements here. I've played both of my fire cards, which means that I'm not really hitting innates next turn. Is the problem. I guess I don't need plus range if I have the gather, though, isn't it? I could just gather into D7 and kill the things that way. So I don't necessarily need Gift of Sunlit Air. And I was gonna play that, wasn't I? To stop the C6 build, maybe? Sure. So then let's do that then. So I can now do this by gathering into D7. Do this to myself to push this explorer somewhere else. Plus damage. Wait, did I might have accidentally hit the wrong one. Oh, well, I guess I do the 1 damage to each and then +3 damage. Okay. Jungle Wetlands. Yeah, so all my building destruction and they still see everything on board C, so that's why I was wondering whether it was worth doing all of that, but I don't know, I guess it was. I mean, that's not really gonna stop the Ravage. I can stop the build in D3 if I were to gather here instead. Defend 9 is enough for D7, and the Dawn Hunter getting pushed away with that power anyway. I could gain a power with Sunbright. Definitely want to use my presence to stop a build, that's for sure. Yeah, if I gain a power, I will have 3 plays. So yeah, I could do that. Power here. Not hitting 3 plays. You do get innate fire if I go up the energy track for that one. So I can still hit my first level innate, which is to gather a presence. Doesn't really do that much though. It's probably going to be 2 powers. Let's see what we get. Gather 2 explorers can be really good this turn. If it can stop 2 builds. If I do it into D4, it stops D6 and C4. This is only range 1 from a Devouring Teeth presence, so that would be like the best spot. I could try C6. It has the Dahan, and the explorers would die in the Ravage. It stops C8, C5, or C1. This presence, however, is range 1, so I wouldn't have range to that. Unless I have this power, in which case I could if I grow into C4. So that's a thought. Take a look at Sunbright's present, or Sunbright's power. We would like to have what? We need a Sun Air in order to be able to hit second innate. And that's a Sun Air. Adds a Strife. Range 1 Sacred Site. Not really helpful for this turn, though. Gathering a town and a land without invaders. I mean, obviously, we can use that to stop a build. Are there any other potential city builds? The answer is no. The only building in a jungle or wetland is now the city in D2, since we killed the one in D3. I mean, I can set this up to strife. I can strife the city in D2 if I make a sacred site in D4. The problem is that we were going to use my presence to push an explorer, which means I'm not putting a sacred site down. Because probably stopping a build is better than... I mean, like, strifing the city is cute and all. So Devouring Teeth was growing into C4 with plus range to gather 2 explorers into C6. So these... Probably C5 is gone. Maybe C8 if I can defend C1. I guess also I will have the push if I have Fire in the Sky. I'd only be playing it for elements, is the problem. It is a really good power, it's just there's not a good spot for it this turn. I can strife the town in C3, it's not doing anything, but it means I don't have to worry about it in a bit. I can give myself plus range, and then I can strife the city in D2. But then I'm not gathering the 2 explorers into C6 that way. I mean, really, it's only C5 that's the problem. If I were to grow into C4 or D4... Oh no, D4 doesn't work. If I grow into C4, I could still gather 2 explorers into C2, and that gets C5 and C1. And I could ignore C8. And then I can put Sunbright Presence in D6 to push that explorer out. That's probably fine. This is range 4 presence, so I could stop the build in D1 instead, because D6 isn't really doing much. I can also push it down, but I don't think there's really any value in that. You can go into D7 because you're going to be defended with this anyway. I'm going there so I can hit C2. I'm playing the defend card and the gather explorers card. I'm playing my hand. Plus range to myself. Strife the city. Gather these 2 explorers. And then defend. I'm not in D7. I'm not in D7. That's a flaw. So the solution would be to do Gift to Sunlit Air. Okay, I'm back to playing cards. Because I could grow into D7, but then I don't have the visibility to C2 that allows me to stop these 2 builds. I could stop C4 and C6, or D6, but that would allow C5 to build, but I can push the explorers out with Violent Windstorms, so it's not a big deal. Still stops 2 builds. I guess that's what I'm gonna do. So I need to move this presence. Did I want the fire? I just kind of grab the animal. I'm not grab the fire. This gives me the option to gather presence if I want. Okay. To avoid singletons. Got a fear card. Made progress. New species spread. Aided by moon, we have 1 moon. And we have like no moon cards. We probably don't even have a choice here. It's just gonna immediately do the let the invasive species. Oh no, we have a choice. Okay. Which means that we have like a card we can forget. We can forget Gift of Furious Might. Wait. Oh, I can forget Entrancing Apparitions as well. Oh, and, right, this counts as 2 because it's in play. 2, 3. No, what am I talking about? It's not 2 because it's in play. It's I have to discard it for it to be 2. I'm an idiot, okay? Shut up. I don't know what I'm talking about. I could forget this, which would get rid of my 1 moon, but then I would have 4 moon. I can forget that for 4. So do I want to forget 2 moon cards just to do crap? Probably not. If I let the invasive species bloom, we run the risk of blights. And then this card goes under the top 2 cards, which means we'll come back in 3 turns. We'll add a disease to a land with both Dahan and invaders. And both of us will gain energy. We certainly have to forget both, right? Because if I pay 1 on both, that's 2. Plus the 1 moon is 3. And if I forget that one, that's 7. So the only other moon source is Entrancing Apparition. So it'd have to be forget both moon cards, which is not ideal. Can add a disease to land with both Dahan and invaders, which can be good to stop one of these. For sacred sites under threat, it would be a nice QOL improvement if the game informed you what number it was shooting for. As it stands, we'll let you donate, if not infinitely, then at least way more than you need. Yeah. I am with you. But certainly it's a UI thing, and there's already like a lot of stuff on the screen that has to be presented to the players. But certainly it'd be nice if there's a little tick box over here that said, you need 12. You have 6. I mean, like, if I hit transmute the worst, you see it says energy paid 1 out of 8. By default, it shows how much you need to hit in order for the effect to trigger, which... But for Sacred Sites Under Threat, there's no threshold, and you can overspend, and there could be maybe a reason to overspend. I don't know what it would be. Maybe there's a future spirit where every time you discard a power card from hand, you gain an energy. I don't know. But yeah, no. It would be nice to just have that instead of having to then scour the board and be like, well, there's a sacred site here, so that's 1. So I just need 3. Okay, so if I do this, for each board, discard a top minor power. If it is fast, add a blight to a land with buildings. This board's kind of... Actually, I guess I could blight this one. And that's defended because of the strife. So it doesn't really matter the order. It's slow and slow, so no blight. And I can stop one of these builds. It's absolutely board C, right? Because the disease here doesn't work. It'd have to go into D2. I kind of like that Dahan to stay there, though. Hello, Jason Henke. Happy Sunday. Kind of want to put it here. I mean, it doesn't really matter, because most likely I'm going to take whatever's in one of them, push them to the other, but let's do it there for good measure. So remember that 3 turns from now, we're going to have that come up. So we need to have moons in 3 turns. Lands with presence have defend 2. That doesn't do anything. They're doing wetlands again. And so we're adding a town to a land without towns on both boards because there's buildings everywhere, so... not jungle or wetlands. Mountains are taken, so one of these two, probably C2, it's diseased. Can't be sands, could be mountains. Let's do the one with devouring teeth, because he can eat them someday. So stopping the wetlands ravage or defending it. So like D1's already covered. It has Dahan, it kills the explorer, and then the build doesn't happen. So what else do we need to do? There's like C8, which is question mark. C5, which is at risk as well. Violent windstorms and Scatter the Winds can stop both of those. Problem is that the Dahan in C1 is going to die. I'm going to reclaim, which means that I'm not going to put a presence down, which means I'm not going to have the sacred site here, which means I won't have range to C1, unless I do the same trick where I do Gift of Sunlit Air fast. Or Gift of Sunlit Air to do +1. Sorry, I'm on the wrong thing. You have to Sunlit Air for +1 range to do Fire in the Sky at range 2 from C3. D8 or C5 could be dealt with by violent windstorms. The thing with Scatter the Winds is that this is going to put a bunch of things in different lands. So like if I hit C5 with that, I have to choose 3 of these neighboring lands. and put one of each in there. So if I were to put a Dahan in C1 and Strife the town, that would kill everything in C1 in the Ravage. And I could put the Explorers in C2 and C6, probably. Put one in C7, because that's like a source of invaders or something. Concentrated invaders are better than not concentrated invaders. I guess that works. And then I can push things from C8 into C7. And push this one into C2. And push those into C7. So that's solved. That's solved. D3 is the only question mark now. Which it's not blighting in the Ravage, so like we could do Ferocious Rampage to kill the stuff. This is just Gather a Presence, which I don't really need. It'd be nice to have one more Dahan in D2 to kill the city. I could set that up by doing Fed 9 in D6, but I could also not reclaim next turn. And actually, if I do that, I could still gather the Explorer Town out. So I can gain a power card. If I gain an animal and I get a fire card, I can do damage at range 1. And that is 1+1 damage. So we kill the town. So I probably don't need to reclaim them. C1 is a question mark. All the other jungles are fine. Oh no, sorry, it's not a question mark. We have that solved. We're strafing that with Fire to Sky. We talked about that. So it's just about D2. I'm gonna put my presence in D2. I'm taking this one. Move the defend. Oh, because I'm defending and lands with presence from the fear card. Okay, so this is a power card. It would like to be fire. That's fire. Does damage. It's good. This is a reclaim, which also gives a power card. Sun Air. It's another gift of Windsped Steps. Seems pretty good. And this seems pretty good. I'm going to assume that these two are really good. And so this is a sacred site. It does 3 damage, so I probably want to do it in D7. D3 doesn't die with death approaches, but it does kill the town, and that's the most important one. Okay. This, and then I could do Sky Stretches instead of Sunlit Air, which has the benefit of saving plus energy for Devouring Teeth someday. Needs a slow power as if it were fast. Or a fast power as if it were slow. What is the situation where you'd want a fast power to be slow? Excellent question. Maybe I want to fire in the sky after they build a city. And then I want an air card. Preferably not a sun card, so this would be it. So I'm basically playing the same cards as last turn, except I'm playing Sky Stretches this time. Oh yeah, also explorer destruction before there's explorers, and if they were slow, then you could do it. Indeed. I could stop D3 with scatter. I could also get a Dahan into D2 with scatter. Probably don't want to put any other, like, invaders in D2. I could, like, hit D5 to put the town in D2, but that would be bad. I guess that's fine. I do D1 with this. Put a Dahan into D2. Explorer to D7, because that's concentrated. And then more Dahan into D5. That's also no singletons, so it's good. Alright. In the single land with the most invaders, push an explorer town to each adjacent land. Well, is it going to be this one or this one now? Each beast generates fear if invaders are present and moves to an adjacent land. If not, on each board, push 2 Dahan from a land with blight to a land without blight. Alright, so it's C7, and that's actually kind of bad because now they're building in the wetlands that we prevented. Okay, well, explorer. And probably just explorers, leave the towns in there. It's push 1 to each adjacent land, so like it's not like scatter where we're pushing all of them to as many different lands as possible and then group up the rest, but we're only pushing 1 per land. So I guess it's just gonna be push all the explorers and leave the towns in there. This also pushes Dahan. This could have gotten into D2 for me. We don't need to do that. They're already dead. We could put more in D7. Maybe we get, like, defend that doesn't push Dahan. I'm willing to try it. Would have been nice to get Dahan in D4 or whatever, but yeah. Or D5. Sands. I'm gonna stick with the idea that coastal things are better than inland things. All right. Well, I was going to kill the thing in D3, but now I kind of want to get rid of all the crap in here. Also pushes an explorer. Nice. I mean, like, other than the fact that my presence is in D3, that's fine. I could defend it in different ways. Or push the things out. I'm gonna get rid of this town so they don't build a city. This is like literally in my land. I could gather this town into D2, I guess, and that way I don't have to defend it. It's not really, yeah, I don't have plus range. I have this probably to stop D4 C6. Or actually C5 is a problem, actually. We are reclaiming on Devouring Teeth. This does create a sacred site, actually, which is cool. Let's make C2 a massive problem. Because why not? And let's just not worry about D3. So many explorers in the sands for some reason. It's weird. It's like I pushed all the explorers in the sands because they weren't doing anything in the sands. All right, you will not be getting a fourth play if I do that, but I can gain energy and play my hand. I always use like first person pronouns when talking about spirits, but the problem is I'm not specifying which spirit. So I'm not necessarily verbalizing my thoughts well enough. So feel free to chime in and be like, when you said I can gain energy, what do you mean? Sunbright can gain energy and play Sunbright's hand. You can actually clear out C2 with the plus damage power from Teeth. Teeth is only playing 2 cards, so we do have to be careful. C8 is blighting, that's not really an issue. We have lots of blight. We haven't even put a blight on the board yet. I mean, C2 is diseased, but I kind of like the idea of killing everything in C2. But that's not necessarily correct. It does, like, really optimize Tempest. It hits 5 different invaders, which is cool. There's just so many explorers that I don't think I can stop all the builds. I don't think it's worth spending the effort to stopping the builds. Because lest we forget, this is Brandenburg, Prussia. Stage 3 is coming up. And also the event card that we pushed back is, yeah, it's next turn. So we want Moon's next turn, so let's try to avoid playing Moon cards this turn if we can. Entrancing Apparitions, though, would stop a build, maybe? I would need plus range, but I'm gonna probably get plus range there. Because I could do defend 5, or defend 2 into C5, gather the 2 explorers out of C6, and that stops that build. But is that worth? Probably not. Because, like, I'm putting a lot of effort to preventing builds, but our fear game's not that good. I'm gonna hit the threshold for damage, which is cool. For each invader pushed, 1 damage, and land was pushed too. I could do things fast. Does that do anything for me? If I were to do this fast, and the plus damage was, like, the idea was that it would go into D2. It could be used here. It would be like, if I push 3 invaders, it'd be 3 damage, but then still plus 3. This doesn't, like, add 3 per. Which one is it? This one. So, because generally when it says plus damage, this adds damage total for the power, even if the power damages multiple invaders or each invader. Like, I know it specifies on that card, but that's true in general. So, like, if I have a power that grants plus damage, not that one. This just is plus 3 damage total. So I would do 3 damage at most if I push 3 things. And then plus 3 damage. Actually, it would be nice if there were 2 sands next to each other, because I could push the invaders into a neighboring sands and then they would kill each other, but The developers are really good at making sure there's not 2 consecutive lands. Which is part of why some land type or some land combinations are specifically stated to be unbalanced, because they have 2 neighboring lands of the same type. Anyway, so I could push the 3 explorers out of D4 with this and do 3 damage in the land it gets pushed into, potentially +3. So like I could push them into D6, or sorry, D5, and that would kill a town and explorer. I could push them to do D2, and with plus damage it would kill 2 towns and 2 explorers. Interestingly, if I just push that into like D3, then that would just kill the explorers that I've just pushed, so it indirectly kills them. But it's certainly be nice to try to set up something. There's no cities on the board. I've been very good at killing cities, as it turns out. I think they haven't even built a city. No, sorry, they built D7. But I killed it. Push D8 into D7, that stops the blight, but I would rather stop builds. The best spot would be either D4 or D7, but D7 already has Devouring Teeth presence, so that's not an issue. Anyway, I think the idea was we do defend 2 into C5 to gather the 2 explorers out of C6. I don't have range to D7, right? I guess I can. Oh no, I don't want to be in D7, right? I can get a Dahan into D1, or sorry, C5, not D, C5 if I do it this way. And that way those 2 explorers die. So we have 1 power left. This is a moon card, and I wanted to play that. So I want to save the other moon card, or otherwise plan on forgetting it. I think I was. Oh no, I was gonna use it because I wanted the plus damage. All right, fine. No moons for me next turn, I suppose. How do I have range there? Oh, because I'm in D1, that's why. Okay, well. The plus damage is going there. And I stop this build. I kill this town. All right. When exploring, once per board, place a town. On each board, add beasts to a land without blight that has towns. During Ravage, in every land, defend 1 per Dahan. Cool. Add strife in a land with beasts, disease, Dahan. Actually, it would be nice to put the beast in C8 to stop that blight now. It's okay. That one. That one? Those are probably just gonna die to teeth. Defend 3 in all coastal lands. They don't really do that much. Coastal. And once per board at a town. Now we're in stage 3. Oh, gather presents. This is a very exciting power. Putting a Dahan in C2 would stop that build. Otherwise, there's a lot of cities. Weird. I seem to have not that much damage on Teeth this turn, despite saying how Teeth would like damage. D7 is ravaging. I guess I defend it, but it's not going to have Dahan if I do that. But I guess that's just what I got to do. I don't think I really want to move my presence. So I will not. This is the turn where we get the event card that says things. Is it quirky? No, not quirky. What's the site? Card catalog, that's what it is. I want to look at the event cards. Show me event cards. I don't know how to I don't know how to search this site, honestly. I just pull up cards. It's the one that was aided by Moon. I think I'm looking at the wrong end because I'm seeing a bunch of Jagged Earth events. There's a new species spread. So, aided by Moon, transmute the worst of the species. 1 fear per player on each board. Add a beast to a land with buildings. We'll also get disease to a land with both Dahan and invaders to half the boards. Do 2 damage to Dahan there, and then spirits to Dahan gain energy. So we do know we're doing this on Sunbright. We could click this so that we have lots of energy to play with and therefore be able to spend. Could also choose to forget entrancing apparitions at this point. There's just too many explorers and it's not that good of a card. I just wanted to not forget it after I had played it. But yeah, that'd be 4 energy and that's a lot. So I guess I'm gonna keep doing minors because I'm playing lots of cards. I can gain a Moon card to forget it, or I could use it. It is pretty good fear. Also, it's a Sun and Air card, which is a big boost. Also, fear. I like fear because we just said our fear game sucks. So it would be nice to prevent some of these city builds. How do we go about doing that? Step 1 is to play 3 cards. Or maybe I take plus energy. I don't know. I would like to play more cards, but I will have to reclaim next turn. I would rather gain a power card if I were to play 3 cards, but because then I would also gain a power card next turn. But in so doing that, I'm kind of not going to have the energy for the thing. But I guess I said I was going to forget entrancing apparitions. We have this Moon card, so we probably have enough energy to deal with it. So maybe I do gain a power. Bro, through sacrifice! It's a Moon card! Also grants fire? Not gonna hit the two suns, but I have to click Growth Through Sacrifice because it's the best card ever. So good that they're getting rid of it in Nature Incarnate. The other option would be Swarming Wasps, which would give me an animal and a fire. Yeah, Growth Through Sacrifice is getting replaced. I think it's gonna have this. It's a power that's gonna have the same elements, but it's not the same effect. It's vastly different. Can I quickly find where it was? It was on backer kit, right? Still have a big issue navigating backer kit. I have to click 20 times to find my projects. How do I look at updates? There used to be a thing for, oh, I guess I can filter it this way. There's a community tab that now has updates on it, but it used to be a tab called updates. I don't remember which update it was that mentioned that, though. Bum, bum, bum. Rolling Bog and Snagging Thorn. 1 Fear, Isolate, Defend 2, 1 Dahan. DNBIR. I'm trying to figure out what that stands for. Do not play if resurrected? I'm just gonna spend another minute looking quickly. I'm fairly sure it was mentioned. I don't have Nature Incarnate yet because I got the token pack. Or the premium tokens, whatever. Does not participate in Ravage. Okay, that makes more sense. 1 Dahan does not participate in Ravage. Hello, Nezu. Sorry, I'm taking a sabbatical trying to find the mention of the fact that Growth Through Sacrifice is cut from Nature Incarnate. Yes, here it is. So let's see, do I still have like a source that shows my screen? There we go. We knew for Nature Incarnate that we wanted to retire exactly 1 power card, Growth Through Sacrifice, and print a replacement minor. Eric designed this minor power with the same elements, cost, and speed, but totally different effects. So 0 energy fast, 1 moon, 1 fire, 1 water, 1 plant. 1 fear, isolate, defend 2. Dahan cannot move out of target land. 1 Dahan does not participate in Ravage. So as stated by, sorry, I don't have my chat window open right now. As stated by Gracie Puz. But we also have a major power as a homage to Growth Through Sacrifice, which is transformative sacrifice. Same elements. Target spirit may remove up to 3 presents from anywhere on the island. Then for each removed presence, they gain and play for free the top card of the minor power deck. And if you have 2 moon, 3 fire, 2 plant, and removing presence this way, target spirit may also remove 1 presence from their presence track before gaining cards to gain and play +1 card. Which is really interesting because you don't place the presence, but you're still revealing the track, so you get the benefits. So, very interesting. So yeah, growth through sacrifice is going away, but we're getting things in return. Yeah, so stonks. It also gives me animal. I'm getting to 3 plays. I have an innate animal. So unless I'm playing Browse the Trees, I'm playing 2 animal cards plus 1 of these. If I am playing Browse the Trees, then I'm only getting 1 more animal. So I need 2 more animals to hit the 3rd innate. I'm definitely not hitting the 4th. I don't have enough plays. I don't have any synergies with beasts other than event card stonks. But we do know that this event card coming up is not beast stonks. It just adds a beast to a land with buildings. It doesn't do anything else. I can actually get an earth if I grow myself. I'm taking this, and you can't stop me. If you ever wanted to see the definition of touch wood, Kate Walker was playing a follow-up game against Dawn, and you said hopefully she doesn't play a devastating Aurora. Take a wild guess what Dawn played after you said that. Probably Blinding Light is my guess. Maybe Citizen Dare. Citizen Dare's actually a pretty cool card. What? Devastating Aurora? No way! Yes, I know. I was being facetious. Yep, Devastating Aurora is one of those base game cards that is ridiculously overpowered. Like, it's really crazy when you look at like the decks in base Sentinels versus the decks in later expansions, because like there aren't really any cards that say destroy all equipment cards or destroy all ongoing cards. Only in the base game do those cards exist. And Devastating Aurora is the one that's even worse, where it's like destroy all equipment cards, destroy all ongoing cards, destroy all environment cards. Literal board wipe in a single card. Whereas later on they started making it so instead of destroying all, it destroys H, or each player destroys 1. So they realized that it wasn't fun to just have a board wipe card in a deck. I have not played Definitive Edition too many times though, so I can't speak as to how it plays there. But from what I can tell, from what I've heard from people, it's like villains are stronger, but so are the heroes. So they probably still have like the board wipe cards, but the heroes have like faster setup or something. This is range 1. And I need to defend D7 probably. Might have plus range, so a lot of this might not actually matter, but assuming that I don't have plus range, let's put myself in D1. I guess Rouse the Trees already hits D1. I probably want that for like D2 because that's there's a lot of crap in there. I don't necessarily need to play Growth through Sacrifice, but it's cute. If I were to be more serious, I would probably do Ferocious Rampage to kill the 2 towns in D2, and then Rouse the Trees to kill a city, and then I have this for even more damage. That's probably better. More damage, more solutions. I need to do things fast with Sunbright, maybe? I could stop city builds on board C. I could do 2 powers fast. If I were to do Sky Stretches and Gift of Windsped Steps and Scatter the Winds, I can stop C1 and C3, thereby stopping cities. That's pretty cute. Also, this will actually kill 2 things it pushes. Actually, no, I'm only pushing 2 things, so it doesn't kill 2 things it pushes. But that's reasonable, right? I feel like I spent 20 minutes on this turn, but I didn't actually do anything. Like, with those 20 minutes, I spent 10 minutes looking up a card in Nature Incarnate. So, I'm a professional streamer over here. I feel like I want to kill the not Strife town. I can put the Strife town into C6 and it dies in the Ravage. I could do that with Scatter. Oh, and I can put the Dahan into C2 and that Explorer dies and we preserve the disease again! The disease from the start of the game is still there! I could put the town into C2 and it dies the Dahan, but then that disease is no longer preserved. Unfortunate. I mean, I could push the town and kill the Explorer. But it pushed the Strife town, kill the Explorer, and then the town dies in the Ravage, and then this town doesn't kill a thing, but it could kill the Explorer in C4, I guess. I guess. But I'd rather kill a town. But I guess either way a town dies, right? This way one more thing dies? Okay. Actually, I guess 2 Explorers died, so it's 2 more things. 1 fear per player, and each board add beast to a land with buildings. So transmute. And we're going to forget Entrancing Apparitions. And then discard this and spend 2 energy, otherwise I have to forget another moon card. So I guess in the end, I'm not reclaiming after all. Well, I guess I could have discarded this. Actually, I thought I was going to play that, wasn't I? Well, if I'm doing that, then let's actually just save this so you don't have to reclaim then. So on each board, add beasts to a land with buildings. Stonks. And then, yeah, we have the disease. Do it there. We could stop the city, but I wanted the city. I wanted to kill the city. Huh? All right, no buildings victory. Stage 3, mountains, wetlands. So how many turns do we have left? We have 3 more explorers. So let's kill the city. This is 4 damage, this is 4 damage. So I don't really have any defend cards, by the way. I guess I have Fire in the Sky. I could strafe the town in D2 with that. I don't have plus range next turn, do I? I guess I do. This is range 1, this is range 0, so I should probably do the range 0 one in D2 then. Wait, there was a choose for me button, wasn't there? What does choose for me do? Kills 2 towns. Okay. Cool. Normally choose for me is when the order doesn't matter, but the order technically does matter. You could have done 1 damage to 3 buildings and then the 4th to kill one of them. But I don't know. That's fine. It did what I wanted. That's also 4 damage. Like, stopping the wetlands build would be great, but I don't have enough damage for that. This is technically not defended. Doesn't kill everything in D5. D3 just seems like it's the best spot for that. I mean, we have victory if we have no buildings. Apparently there's 6 towns. And if they build, then they're building 6 towns and 2 cities. That's more than double what we have on the board right now. I'm doing minor, and you can't stop me. This is pretty good damage and pretty good elements. Like, really good elements. And really good damage. And really good elements. And really good damage. How about Sunbright? You can get to 4 plays, but if you do that, you can't play all of your cards because you don't have energy. Do have the Tempest power, which would be nice to combo with the plus damage one, but we don't have that this round since we're not reclaiming. So I could gain a power and not play Tempest, then gain energy instead. Probably still won't have energy for Tempest next turn as a result. We're doing Fire in the Sky in D2. Is there any build we can stop with a presence? D3, well, actually that dies in the Ravage. D8, D3. Don't have a means of stopping C7. We're not doing this fast this turn. What if I were to reclaim? What would that do? I could push C7 fast and they don't build a city there. Because, like, minimizing the builds and just getting the building victory seems pretty nice. Just keep reclaiming and playing sky stretches and give the windspad steps and scatter. The problem is that's 3 energy and I'm only gaining 2 per turn, so it's not indefinite. But if I were to do that, I could stop 2 builds. Maybe 3 if I were to push things in a way that would deal damage effectively. Doesn't seem too likely. There's like adjacent mountains, wetlands here. There's adjacent mountain wetlands here. But without damage boosts, then my thingy, my scatter to the winds. Actually, not even scatter to the winds. The violent windstorms doesn't do enough damage to kill everything it pushes, as well as stop the build that is pushing into. I'd also not be doing Fire in the Sky in D2 if I did that. If I were to not reclaim, just gain energy and play Tempest, well, with plus range, I could hit D5, and that stops 1 town, but I mean, there's a lot of explorers in there, so it'd be effective for hitting as many invaders as possible, but it doesn't stop the city in D7. Feels like stopping the city is more important. There are 2 cities. Where's the other city? C8. So I'd have to be doing Violent Windstorms and Scatter the Winds over here to stop the cities. Kind of the problem with that is that one of those is Scatter the Winds, which is going to push at least one thing into C7. And then the other... I mean, yeah, like... But Scatter in C8 makes the most sense because it's the most controlled pushing. Otherwise... I think it's really that... good. Yeah, I guess, like, that works. Spur on! I clicked that one. I could play it on myself, except I don't have the energy to do that. Which is a shame. Because I have to play these. And we have to find another solution to D2 now, which I guess could just be Quicken. Mainly want it for elements. I don't have plus range, so I will need to do the Sacred Site in D2. So I shouldn't have done that because it's gained slightly more energy. Like, I gain slightly more energy if I take from here instead of from there, and I can grow through sacrifice to get the earth. It's still, but profit the energy. Unless I want to have you grow through sacrifice, but I think I would rather do it on myself. You don't... Do we have both? Wait. No. I didn't get the choice because I'm not in a land with blight. Okay. Spurn or teach? Well, the problem with teach is that they will build in C3 twice, so they will put a city there. They'll also build in D3 twice. I didn't defend D1, whoops. We have 2 fear cards, that would probably be helpful. So it's probably Spurn. There's only 1 town on board D, and it's in D7, so it's not a problem there. On board C, it's going to be a blight in C6, and I just have to accept that. But buildings have -1 health. Also, we're going to be doing damage to Dahan and land with buildings. On each board, 2 damage to Dahan and land with buildings and Dahan. So it's gonna kill the Dahan in C6. That's the only one with buildings. And then for half the boards, I mean, I could do it in D1 to put the disease there, but we're kind of hoping that we're going to get a defend, and we'd rather those Dahan retaliate, so I probably want to not do it in D1. I could do it C3. Yeah. C5? C5 is better, actually. Play me gather an explorer into a land with buildings, or gather a town into a land with cities. Well, that stops the blight in D1. And it stops one of D8 or C7 from building. Let's go with D8. Skip the next normal build. Well, we just won then, because they're not adding buildings. They're not adding buildings. We just have to get rid of like the however many buildings that are left. I guess it's not like easy per se. But surely between these 2 powers and our next fast phase, we can do it. Oh, this doesn't even damage. It does gather. We don't have plus range. Maybe it's not easy. We have Tempest next turn with plus damage, right? Okay. So that's a reclaim. Play 4 cards. Play fast powers. Surely that's good enough, right? Maybe. Gain energy. Play 4 cards. Put you... Oh. Probably need a Sacred Site more than that. Give me Tempest. Spiron? that? Dang, I hit that, but it's... I can't do the slow power fast this turn. I can Spiron myself to play Fire in the Sky. We probably just generate enough fear to win. No. Terror level 3 is too far. Okay. This one. This one. I guess I probably should have done that there instead. But plus range, quicken. What? Oh, I hit the wrong person with plus range. We won! All the invader settlements have been destroyed, and their morale is not strong enough to weather this loss. They depart the island for their faraway home. Difficulty 9, score 61, 10 for victory, 45 for difficulty 9, 4 for the 2 remaining invader cards, 4 for the 8 surviving Dahan, -2 for the 4 blight. Cool. Now, Brandenburg Prussia always feels like one of the easier adversaries, but it's actually kind of scary how thin the deck is. Because remember, we only had 2 cards left in the invader deck. So like, while we weren't like stressed on blight, we were definitely stressed on time. And remember, we won on Terror level 2. And we were like 3 fear cards away from Terror level 3. So like, while it might have felt easy, it was definitely very important to stop all those city builds throughout the game. Because if they had cities on the board and we couldn't deal with the cities, well, 1, we wouldn't have won we wouldn't have gotten the no building victory. 2, even if we got to Terror level 3, there would still be cities on the board and we wouldn't have won. So, and cities are definitely harder to deal with than towns, because towns you can gather and push with a lot of powers, but cities you generally can't. So once they build a city, they're rooted in. So you can't really just accept that city. All right, it's only 2:30. You know what time? You know when it's time to go to the dentist? 2:30. I promised I would do a game with the other 3 spirits. So we got Fathomless Mud. We got Eyes Watch and Rising Heat. I promised you I would give you that game. And the random adversary was also Brandenburg Prussia, but I'm going to veto that. I think I want to do actually Guard the Owl's Heart, because, well, I enjoy that a lot. And let's do either England, France, or Sweden with that at difficulty 1, I would say. Probably England. Because at difficulty 1, you know, we still have to be careful about the adjacencies to the inner lands, because if there are no invaders in the inner land, but it's still adjacent to 2 buildings, then they will still build there. Plus, England is great with Fathomless Mud, because at my sacred sites, you only build explorers instead of towns. And it's, well, bad. So let's do that. Guard the Owl's Heart. So I guess I should go through this. Kingdom of England. We have the lost condition if 7 or more buildings are ever in a single land. The stage 2 escalation on each board with buildings. Build in the land with the most buildings. And we also have invader build actions affecting lands without invaders if they are adjacent to at least 2 buildings before the build action. Guard the Owl's Heart. Difficulty 0, although John says it's -4. After all other setup, remove all towns. And on each inner land, which on 3 players would be these the central lands, add an explorer and a presence from the player starting on that board. Each spirit also starts with 2 additional power cards by drawing a single card from each of the 2 power decks. So we have 1 additional minor power, 1 additional major power, and 1 additional presence from our growth tracks. So we have basically a lot of startup. But we have this additional loss condition. Anytime after turn 1, there is a building in an inner land. So we have to prevent that. It's made a little more difficult by the fact that they're putting an explorer in there, so even if there are no other buildings, they still have access to the inner land innately. And, well, yeah. But it is pretty easy, because you start with a lot. Like, you get a big head start, and the invaders also lose all of their setup. So basically, this is freebie, right? But there's still the cities. So all the towns are removed, but the city is still there. They're exploring the jungles. Also, we have board F here. This is a new board. Actually comes from Jagged Earth. Boards E and F are from Jagged Earth. E is not in the game yet, but F is, because F, G, and H were in Horizons. So we have the explorers in these marked inner lands. And we're also putting the additional presence. I would like to probably just do card plays for all. It's kind of cool how all of these spirits have the same going from 1 card play to 2 card plays with their first presence. I like that a lot. And the extra stuff we get are trees and stones in reaching grasp for fathomless mud, poisoned land and teeming rivers for stone and sand, smothering infestation and sky stretches for eyes watch. So what were the good powers to got? What were the good gots? Trees and stones is, I mean, it's a good power by itself. The elements are okay. We would rather have water and moon, but we do like earth and plant. What was the other one? Reaching grasp? Well, that doesn't really do anything for elements. It does give a water, I guess, but not moon. I guess we do care about water more than moon a little bit more. Both of those powers are really good, just by themselves. Eyes watch. We got, what did we got? Sky stretches, which doesn't really do anything. Gives me air. Again, a good power by itself. I don't mean to say when this isn't good. It's like what I mean is the elements. I'm looking at elements first, and then I'm looking at the effect. Smothering infestation gives plant. And we do have water off of sky stretches. So we could potentially do 1 damage to each invader. All right, and then stone and sand got teeming rivers, which is terrible elements. Poisoned land has earth. Okay, well, that is what we got, for better or worse. So remember we said about how we lose if there's a town in the inner land, but how build actions may affect lands without invaders. What if the inner lands had fathomless mud sacred sites? Then when they build in the inner land, they only add an explorer. And so we don't lose. That said, they're not building jungles this turn, so we don't care about that right away. But hey, they're building explorer into B8. I think. Oh no, sorry, that's ice, not mud. My bad. I'm blind. I could definitely put a sacred site just to stop the town build. Like sacred site in B4 is a thought. Not sure if I'd necessarily want to do that though. Could definitely like do +2 energy and then play the power that says I may pay 2 energy to gain a power card, and that way I get lots of power cards, but I already have lots of power cards. But like, what if I want more? Always be gaining power cards, right? ABGP. Also, I haven't really been looking at the special rules here. At my Fathomless Mud, at your sacred sites, build actions add explorers instead of buildings. Eyes Watch, after one of your powers adds defend to a single land, gather up to 1 Dahan into that land. Stone and Sand, at your sacred sites, invaders have -1 health. So... I could do sacred sites in stone and sands very effectively. That's kind of interesting that I can grow into stones and sands very easily. Unfortunately, jungle is neither of those. So like I can't kill the city in F2 very easily. I can kill the city in B2 very easily. But I probably don't want to do that when they're not doing that right away. Why did I decide to do 3 spirits? I'm already getting like overwhelmed right away. It's not good. I'm sure once I get started, it will be better. I'm just kind of like trying to refamiliarize myself with these spirits and whether I want to do double growth or gain a power card. I kind of want to do double growth. Do double growth on all of them and then figure out from there what I want to do. How about that? This is range 1, range 1. So let's put the Sacred Site in B4 as that will stop visibility to B7. Actually, I guess that build still does it, so never mind. I'm gonna just go straight card plays. Because why not? The Sacred Site matters more for the innate, and that's it. We do have something that cares about jungles. Let's go here. Because I don't know. And then let's go ahead and go into the city land because why not? All right, we all can play 3 cards. We also have a grand total of 3 energy between us, so maybe that wasn't the correct idea, but actually here it's wrong because I can only play 2 cards. So maybe instead of that presence, I do this one, because like, maybe I even just get the 2 energy instead. Because that's not really doing anything other than setting up for 3 card plays with plus energy next turn, so maybe that's fine. That and then something else. And it's the target spirit will gain energy is what that says. So that's cute. This innate just says damage to explorers only, so it's not necessarily good, but play that one. I don't know. Maybe I don't want to play earth cards. Well, my cards are earth cards. Okay. So that decision was made. This decision is these 2 plus 1 of these. I can do that. Stops a build. And then it's any 3 of these. That one. I don't have the energy to gain a power card, and no one else has energy, so let's just do that. That's my turn 1. Now we figure out what I'm actually doing. I'm playing cards because I had no other choice. And now I'll figure out what a lot of these actions are doing. Oh, we have defend. Okay, maybe I shouldn't play this card because that's... I guess I could use it to gather Dahan, but I probably shouldn't play that card, huh? Because it's not really doing anything. So let's not gain that presence. Because I'm not playing that card. So not that one. Still that one, and then whichever one of these. The one that was 1 damage. Okay. Because that stops that build? I can stop that build instead. Yeah, it's fine. And this will gather a Dahan. We're also going to gather up to 3 Dahan. Can I defend this? I can. I have a good defend. I'm going to gather Dahan. Reaching Grasp, also for plus range. Give energy to you. Just kind of guessing on that. Anyone want plus range really bad? I don't know. We could have done this in a different land, I guess. Could have. Well, that, I don't think I was going to change my mind on any of those, even with plus range. Those are good choices. So. Probably just myself. Because I think that could be good for something. I don't know. This is like Spirit Island, but dumb. Like playing dumbly. You could sit down for 30 minutes and plan out exactly the best course of action to block all the builds and ravages. Or you could just play whatever cards you can afford to play and then come up with plans later. We're doing the latter right now. Eventually, we'll have better plans. So defending F2 would be pretty cool. And since I am Eyes Watch and I have defend powers pretty easily, I should be able to defend it. Can I defend F5 as well? If I do draw, or sorry, boon, I thought I said draw. Boon of Watchful Guarding on myself, I could. That's a thought. Push up the 2 explorers, range 2 sacred sites, so I could push those 2. Also, they explored mountains, so B7 is a risk, and we do need to be mindful of that. Gather up to 2 Dahan. If Dahan and invaders are both present, a fear and a damage. So we could do that to stop the build. Sure, I don't need to gather. Stinging Sandstorm, or if you are like me and you accidentally shift syllables, this is the Singing Sandstorm. The Singing Sandstorm. I could also do that to stop a build. This land is a pretty good target to block a build. So that stops interland visibilities. Range 1 sacred site. Don't have many choices here, but I can kill those 2 guys. Which is originally going to be hit with Foul Vapors, but I could do that somewhere else instead. Also, and I do have plus 2 range, so this is range 3 sacred site. And I could put a presence there at range 3. That's amazing. Also blocks a build. So I could do it there or there for build preventions, and I guess I'm doing it there. I just so decided. Is that correct? Let's do it here. In the originating sacred site. Let's take that one. You can go coastal. And then this still pushes 2 explorers, so I could block that one as well. I could block that one. Not sure which is better. Let's do this one because I can kill that guy in F5. Range 1 jungle, which there are choices. You have to 3 Dahan if invaders and Dahan are present, 1 to fear. So I wanted Dahan here, and we're going to defend that as well. But I can just do this. Actually, I only need 1 more Dahan in there. But I can get that with the defend. Let's do it there so that I don't have to gather into F2 differently, or gather into F5 differently. I think that makes sense to me. Do I want to play my hand? If I gain 2 presence and go up to 2 energy, I can play my hand. What does that do for me? I have defend 5. Range 1. That would hit A3. That's a good target for it. We also have trees and stones. Also range 1. I will not have the threshold. And then we have exaltation, but I would not have the energy to pay it for the power cards. So maybe instead of that, I click this. and so I shall. So I don't think I need both of those defend cards anyway. Hi, Grow Through Sacrifice. How are you doing? Maybe I click on Infested Aquifers because it's actually better elements. Technically, this is fine elements, though. This is better in a sense of it has earth. This has plant, though. They're both equally good, I guess. Never mind. I don't know what I'm talking about. I need slightly more earth than I need plant. Once I have this plant, I only need one plant. But with this earth, and that's all I get, I still need 2 earths. So technically, this is better. On the other hand, Growth Through Sacrifice. Am I hitting this threshold this turn? 2, 3, 2? 2 moons, 3 waters, 2 earths. I hit that even without the base earth, which is cool. I'm not playing 4 cards. I don't have an 8 water, so I'm not hitting the +2 damage. I don't know. Growth or Sacrifice, because why not? Do I need Sacred Sites? Probably. I just moved one, so I don't think we're preventing a Mountains build with a Sacred Site this turn, but I can create a Sacred Site, so I have more visibility of various things. Let's put it in A7. So now, and this is the one, yeah, so if they accidentally build A7, they will add an Explorer there. And it's my choice whether I want 1 fear defend 5 or 1 damage defend 2 per Dahan. Probably this one. Both have the same energy and both will defend A3 the same way. But this one gives me more fear, and I'm probably reclaiming next turn. So all is correct there. Here, what are we doing? I don't have much energy. I'm not getting much energy. I get this plus this, I have +2 energy on top of what I have. I guess I'm not going to be smothering infestation anytime soon. What would I like to do? I need to be able to defend 4 into F2. I mean, the main hurdle of that is that I don't have moons. That's actually a pretty big hurdle. Because this is my only moon card, and I don't have moons until here. So I guess I have to find a miner that gives moon, and probably is 0 energy in order to play the other moon card. Unlucky. I could save the Dahan with the defend at least, so that F2 is not really that bad. I suppose, like, if I had... Oh, but I have to spend 1 energy to... I guess... Ooh, actually, do I have range there? I could have range to block a Ravage, so maybe I don't necessarily need to defend both. So what do I need for elements? Moon, plant, air, mostly? Main issue is that I can't play this alongside eerie noises. I'm definitely doing Boon of Watchful Guarding. If I get to 3 card plays, then I'm playing Sky Stretches plus 1 of these. Actually, Sky Stretches is interesting, isn't it? Sky Stretches probably means that I can solve F2 another way. In which case, what I want to do... I guess Voracious Growth goes alongside Smothering Infestation. It's not good elements for me otherwise, though, but... Let me grow into F2. I could defend it another way. Probably. I can block the Ravage very easily or something. Or... oh, those won't do it. If I go to 3 card plays, I'm playing Boon of Watchful Guarding, Sky Stretches, and Voracious Growth. None of which give me Moon, so I'm definitely using my Boon in F5 then. But if I give Sky Stretches to Fathomless Mud, do you have range over here? You do. In which case we could do like Trees and Stones that actually use both of my defend cards. If I'm doing that, I'm not gonna have the energy for this, so I'm just gonna take that back and play those, and there we are. Okay. So I don't need to grow into F2 now. Do I need Sacred Sites? A little bit. The issue with that is I would like to keep this for Smothering Infestation. So actually, let's not do that then. Let's just go ahead and take off the energy track so I have more energy. So we're playing Sky Stretches, we're playing that, and those are my 2 powers. Alright, cool. Stone and Sand. The sitting in B2 is only 2 health, so it dies if I can do 2 damage to it. So I would like to be able to play 3 fires, 2 earths. I have 1 earth. So I have to find another power that has fire on it. Right? I think so. I found fires that have powers on them. Yeah, that's good English. This is better elements. Well, sort of. It gives me air, but air is not really that helpful. I mean, I guess I need it on all levels, but I really need earths. Invaders do not build in target land. Actually, can I afford? I can't afford anything other than Call to Ferocity, so I played Call to Ferocity because that's all I can afford. Solution. Since I can't grow into jungles or wetlands any other way, this is going into a jungle or a wetland. I guess... oh no, that doesn't do it. Man, this music is so awesome. Just listening to it, it sounds so good. These are gonna be gone. That's gonna be gone. This one's not gone. That's gonna be gone. There's not really many mountains left. So it's either sands or wetlands next. I guess I go into a wetlands with this as the result. Let's go into this one. And play all my fire cards. Can't, because I only have... did I place the wrong presence? I did. I think. Yeah, okay. So now I do 2 damage and that kills B2. Sky Stretches. It's actually kind of interesting because, like... oh. That doesn't actually do enough defend. Okay. Oh, because I kind of got them mixed up, didn't I? Oh, it's not even enough defend, isn't it? That's going here, though. So this isn't enough defend for where I wanted it to be. Oh, but you know what would work? If I were to grow into F2 as a result and defend... Oh, but I can't... I don't have range to that one. I have range there, but not there. Well, that's irksome. So... Yeah, because it's coastal is the thing. I only have plus range to coastal, and F5 is not coastal. Man, I want more Dahan in F2 now. But if I do that, then I don't have F5 defended. Okay, that's awkward. I can just block the Ravage. I would like things to die in there, though. I mean, I played this for nothing else. I can block that Ravage, but that's not anything. I mean, I have to defend here. Okay. I guess that is what it is. I'll stop this build then. I have a growth or sacrifice. I would just give it to stone and sand because you can't get the sacred sites and wetlands very easily. That's what I'm thinking. I don't think I'm playing 4 cards next turn. I'm probably not even playing 3 cards next turn. I can do this fast. Also would have stopped that build. Interesting. Is there any other builds now? One land is building. Wait, which one? Oh, because England. This one's still building because England. Oh, but it's not because that's defended. And that's dying. Okay, well, only F4 then. Oh, actually. Oh, but I... Oh. Oh! I have a solution. I have a solution to my conundrum. Actually, it's not really a solution, is it? Oh, it's good enough, though. No, I don't have range there. Damn it. I was thinking I could hit this, but this is a land with invaders. I still don't have range there. And that's not invaders. So no, this all sucks. It all sucks. It's probably still better to do this, honestly. Because, like... Let's do Spreading and Dreadful Mire here. It will break up my Sacred Site, but it will get rid of that isolated Dahan, which can be a problem. And it stops the build. So that means my Trees and Stones go somewhere else, but I still don't really have a good place for it. I could have done Spreading and Dreadful Mire in F2, which would get me into F2 and therefore give me range to F5. But the major downside is that I would no longer have a Dahan in F2. Oh shit, there might be a solution here. Oh, this is wacky if this works. So this Dahan pushes. But then... Oh no, it doesn't work. I sound so much like you when you're like, oh, that won't work. But wait, no. Yeah. So, okay, I've already used a Boon of Watchful Guarding, but I was thinking I could do Boon of Watchful Guarding in F2 now. And then I can do Trees and Stones in F5. Wait, that might work. It won't kill everything in F5 is the problem. I do it like this. Now the city dies, and this is defended. Okay. Was it worth the effort? I don't know. They're still building A1 now. Can I reach that? Oh, I can. Why do you have such range? Oh, because like F8 is like... Uh-oh. It's not just F8, but also B2. I can see every land because of these two sacred sites? Really? No, I can't see A6. Okay, fair enough. Wow, that's actually really interesting. These two sacred sites seize the entire island except for A6. Oh, man. Oh, man. I guess it's not too surprising because range 2 is actually really good. Block that build then. And then still have you growth or sacrifice. Okay. I think that works. I was expecting Spurn the Invaders, because of course it would. 1 fear per spirit that has at least 1 sacred site. After advancing invader cards, add an explorer to each land with sacred site. This is the rare stage 1 event card. It is rare because when event cards first came out in Branching Claw, the original rule was that you had events on turn 1. But then with Jagged Earth, it was ruled that event cards on turn 1 are skipped. You would still discard it because of like France, you would still want the card to be where it is. Like you still want the Slave Rebellion card to be the 4th card played. But as a result now, stage 1 event cards only occur on turn 2. Because on turn 3 it's stage 2. Or if you're playing Brandenburg Prussia, there is no stage 1. There is no spoon. 1 fear per spirit that has at least 1 sacred site. I believe that's all of us. And we're gonna add an explorer to each land with sacred site. That's yuck. Beasts deal 2 damage. Add Dahan to mountains or sands with Dahan. Hey, that build was stopped. Any singletons? That's a singleton, that's a singleton. I want to get rid of that singleton. That singleton, although it's not near any cities, and that's the only choice there. During the next normal explorer, skip the lowest numbered land matching the invader card on each board. That might just mean there's no explorer. No, that actually is gonna go off. But there's no build, right? And then they do sands. So the explorer A7. And then they add a million explorers. Unfortunately, at least one of which was into a sands. And A7 is annoying because that's an inner land, but it is Muds' sacred site, so they're adding an explorer in that build. They are building an explorer. But we can just push all the guys out if we wanted. Kill the city. Okay. So gather up to 2 Dahan for each Dahan present, push and explore a town or Dahan. Gather up to 3 Dahan, or if the target land has Dahan, 1 fear and push and explore and a town. Or a town. And a town. Which that is not close enough. That is not range 1. My range 1 is not that good. My range 2 is very good. My range 1 is not good. It does not have Dahan. This has Dahan, but I don't have range. Probably called it herders here. Stops a lot of those. Any ravage issues? Just B2. Probably don't care about B2, honestly. Just gather the Dahan and they deal with it. I don't even need to gather 2. No, I do. There's 3 explorers. Okay. Let's do that and then push those guys not into sands. And gather all of these. Okay. So we have 1 ravage, or 1 blight, and 1 town. Only 1 ravage and 1 town. This is why Guard the Owl's Heart is considered easy. Because this happens. Okay. So presently I have no fast powers for B2. If I reclaim on Mud, though, we do get... Oh, that's not Mud's card. It's Iza's card. Sky Scratches is in there. There is a world where I play Voracious Growth and Smothering Infestation this turn. I can even do it without having to, like, take this growth or this growth. If I take this growth, I hope to get a free power. Actually, no, I get +1 energy, so I can play whatever power I find. And hopefully it's Moon to defend. Defend the 1 land that I don't even have Sacred Sight to. So maybe that doesn't matter even. But let's just keep gaining powers, because always be powered. Sans defend? Don't need it. Moons? Here or here? Put Blight on the board because the invaders are doing a really bad job of that. Don't need that. Let's take Fear. Let's just take it for Fear. Range 3. I want to go there so I can do Smothering Infestation there. Play those 2 powers. I don't even need the 1 damage to each invader, but I have it. Go me. I can also defend. Go me. If I'd done Sacred Sight here, I would have been able to defend B2, but then I wouldn't be an A2. You might notice there's like no chance I'm worried about this Ravage. Like, I lose a presence, but then the Dahan survives, so I don't care. Let's click this one. Gain a miner, maybe a free miner. Swarming wasps, elements, stonks, right? Always be stonksing. I'm just making upwards now. None of what I'm saying makes any sense, but none of what I'm doing makes any sense, for that matter. I want to be an A8. Is this sacred site range? It is. I need more sacred sites. I need to also be like closer to A8. I'm gonna be an F4. It's incorrect, but so is like anything else. Actually, I guess I could do Poison Land in A4, but that will add a blight. Alright, what about you? Reclaim? Gain power? I guess you could gain power, because then you can play that and gain power, and then have a super big turn next turn. Why not? Alright, cool. I want free power. Actually, I don't need free power. Element power? Element power? Element power. And plant, because why not? I'm just a plant after all. Ha, get it? Oh, I'm still placing a presence. I can do secrets. Oh, this is not Iza's presence. That's why I keep getting confused between Mudza's and Iza's presence. They look the same to me. Okay, cycles of time and tide. There are no coastal blights, so I will be adding Dahans. Delusions of danger. I'm in danger. Pushes. Can I reach that? I can. That one build is gone now. Defend. Can't reach. Tried hard. I guess I should push that explorer, but I don't care because it's turning into an explorer. I'm gonna add beasts so that the event might do something. And just in case, I literally can't reach any sands. That's not the one. Oh, the Ravaging Mountain. What am I talking about? They're not building mountains, they're building sands. I wanted to find this one. Okay. And then stonks. In each land with at least 2 towns, there's like no towns. Invaders do not ravage in lands with tokens. Push 2 Dahan from a land with a city. There's no cities. Oh, there's the city. Oh no, they're pushing out of the... I guess it doesn't matter, actually. I didn't need those Dahan. To a land. Okay. Oh no, it blighted. Oh no. Coastal. Coastal is like the one land type that like sucks. Any other land and they just do like 1 explore. Alright, I guess I will do Smothering Infestation in A2, which will actually do 1 damage to each invader now. So actually it is good that I did that, although it's also disease, so it doesn't actually matter. Range 1 Sacred Site, Jungle or Wetland. I guess I will do it over here. That was a wonderful power. Poisoned Land, I don't have range. I don't really know why I played this power. I'm playing it just to kill the Explorer in F3. That's pretty silly. B1, destroy another Sacred Site, which is in wetlands, so it's not helpful. Or it's not good to destroy is what I mean. If land is exactly 1 blight removal, I could actually blade it and then remove the blight. That's a thought, actually. Could also remove 1 of the blades that currently exists. I could also not. Sands Ravage. This one's defended. This one's not really defended. Power cards also to consider. Let's do that one. There we go. I stopped that build. Yeah, yes. Did I want to do that though? I could have pushed a Dahan in there. Is there a neighboring Dahan? No, there isn't. Fair enough. All right. Teeming Rivers, Poisoned Land. Teeming Rivers, Poisoned Land. On Poisoned Land, 8-8. Okay, fine. And you gain a power. This has fire. Although I'm pretty close to getting 2 more fires, like, soon. At which point, I don't really need that many fires. This has air, this has earth, this has earth. What about this one because it deals damage? And I want to deal damage in my lands anyway. I will spend energy to gain a power. And this one has everything but moon. Sure, why not? I don't know. Reclaim, 0 range, power, presence, not power. Just gonna play free powers and see what that gets me. Gets me damage. Okay. I don't know if that's helpful. This one, minor again. I will eventually click major. I don't think I've clicked major a single time today. Maybe today's the anti-major game. Both of these have moon and plant on them. Neither of them have air. But this defends. It does destroy a Dahan, but it defends, and my defense gather a Dahan as the result. But it's range 0. Am I in a coastal? I'm in A2. I could have Reach and Grasp though, so I could really be anywhere, but if I destroy a Dahan, I'll be sad. I could just do Shadows of the Burning Forest. Yeah. It's free. I take free. Free. I'm just gonna click free cards and then have a major turn next turn. How about that? You reclaim, gain a minor, although you might gain a major next turn or something. I don't know. Air, fire, not earth. Damage per blight. I guess there are lands with blight. Free. Welcome to the free stream. You're allowed to play only the free powers. Can you win the game using only free powers? The answer might surprise you. I mean, it's actually okay for like mud to do it, because then you can gain a power card by spending 2 energy, and then next turn you can like take this and gain a major probably. These 2 guys have more energy to work with, so they can definitely get away without playing in free powers. We're playing the one that says defend in target spirit's land in a sands where there's no need for defend, so I guess that is a bad power. So we veto that one. Mountain, jungle, push. There are mountains. Yes, there are. Gather up to 3 Dahan, fear, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Defend. That can go there, I guess. Okay. Beasts. Push in a land with beasts. Yeah, that would stop B2. Gift of Searing Heat to deal damage and target spirit's land. That doesn't really do that much. Call to Ferocity. I guess like it will do more in A8, but like A8's not really doing anything. Just have a growth through sacrifice that's just sitting there, and it's probably gonna go. Since you're almost done, and you're probably gonna do like double mountain sand presence next turn. You're gonna maybe do 2 powers as well. I don't know. I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm just clicking powers. I can play 1 more power. All right, so let's play. Do you have water? No. Do I want water? Probably not. 1 fear, 1 damage. Tell you what, I play this one and we figure out if there's a place for it. I guess there is. Okay. Sky stretches to foul vapors. And if I do it like this, they ravage in there, but they don't die. Okay. Grow through sacrifice. I'm just gonna do it on my sail. Reaching grasp on who? Let's say on eyes, because you have shadows. Defend. I guess that one just in case. It is blighted. Also gathers a Dahan, so that's good. Push in a land with beasts. Yeah, I can dig that. It has to be a land without blight though. That's unfortunate. So maybe I just add a beasts. Deal damage in one of your lands. Not really any choices for that, so just gain energy to you because you have issues gaining energy. All right, cool. Single land with the most invaders. Push an explorer town to each adjacent land. That is A8, and of course it was A8. So push an explorer into B7, dies in the ravage. You have to go into B3. You don't blight, but you will build. I want to leave the town in A8 because I'm going to kill it with my spreading and dreadful mire. Beasts generate fear if invaders are present. Moves to an adjacent land if not. Push 2 Dahan from a land with blight to a land without blight. This is the beasts in F7. We can vacate F7. I approve. This is the beasts in B5. You can join your friend in B1. This is the beasts in A1. No, I'm looking at the wrong one. Push 2 Dahan from here into a land without blight. Well, at least we're killing some of these guys in Ravage. Player moves an explorer from a land with Dahan. We can stop that build. Stop that build? Yes. They built 1 of the 9 lands. And then they built there. Yeah, okay. But they built an explorer in A8. I need to go into B2 again. I lost my sacred site in B2, and now I want my sacred site in B2. All right, kill that town, right? Because why not? There's a power card to be gained. Gather Dahan. If it's mountains, jungles, push. Also, B2 does like need to be defended and crap, or we just block the ravage. That works fine. This is 2 damage and 2 damage to explorers only. I don't have the sacred site here, so there's not minus health. But I can at least clear everything out but the city. Can I get Dahan in there? I can. Assuming I can defend there. That would be pretty good. We're almost at the no buildings victory, and that's the only land with buildings. Okay, cool. And now we are at the no buildings. I actually want to kill that explorer. Because why not? I guess any other, like, jungle issues? That one. Can't reach. What I want is a damage dealing power. So I'm gonna give this to Stone and Sand, pay energy, gain a major, fast damage, no. Sea monsters. We do have sky stretches, right? We could reclaim sky stretches. Terror level is 2 or higher. We could just do Twisted Flowers and win the game. We could also do sea monsters. So why don't we just do sea monsters? On one hand, we could not do sea monsters. On the other hand, sea monsters. I'm just gonna forget one of the ones in my hand. You also gain a major because we said we were gonna do something like that. That's fast. We could have got. That would have been better for you. You could have gotten. Why? Why? That was like the one power. Oh, it's even in here now. This was the power that was made for you. It's Stone and Sand in the vanilla game, I think. Is this? I can't tell. I think this is vanilla. Isn't there like... I guess it's not in the digital game, but like... I think in the physical game, there's like an icon in the lower right that shows you which expansion it's from, I think. Or is it upper right? Is this the icon? I don't think so. That's just the same. Okay. Well, I can do sea monsters fast in B2, and that wins the game. So I shall. I don't need 4 powers. That's also not really helpful, I guess. I don't know. Any other land that I have presence in? No? Okay. Well, then just go somewhere. That one. That one. You don't have another... let's see. We're at 2 water, 2 animal. Yeah, we don't have another water animal. I play that one. I reclaim. I click on this one. And then I play Sky Stretches. And then I will just click on stuff. And you just look pretty, I guess. Building jungle. Okay. Oh, I also get to play all that. Okay, cool. I hit my super innate. Yay. All right. Sky Stretches. Sea monsters. Yay. So the moral of the story is winning Spirit Island is easy as long as you get sea monsters. Actually, that's not the moral, but sea monsters is a really good power. If you're trying to find a major power that's really good, sea monsters. We got 45 points, 10 for victory, 15 for difficulty 3, 14 for the 7 remaining invader cards, 7 for the 21 surviving Dahan, -1 for the 5 blight. And what, we started with 18 Dahan, so we birthed 3 Dahan in that game. Although I think a Dahan did die, so I think we birthed 4 Dahan and killed 1. And we started with 3 blight, so we put 2 blight on the board. I don't think we removed blight in that game. And yeah, remember we were talking about Brandenburg Prussia and how like the deck gets really thin. We won this game with 7 cards left in the Invader deck, although it was a really fast game. We only got we got 2 stage 2 cards. We got Coastal and then we got Jungle, right? So there were 2 more stage 2 cards and then 5 more stage 3 cards. Whereas in Brandenburg Prussia, we only had 2 cards left in the deck. And that was after removing 3 of them. So, yeah. Anyway, that will be it for this week. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Those are the 5 Horizon Spirits. If you would like to play this game, it is Spirit Island. It is available on Steam, iOS, and Android devices. It's a pretty good game. You should check it out. Other Handelabra products include Sentinels of the Multiverse, Sentinels of Earth Prime, Bottom of the Ninth, One Deck Dungeon, Aeon's End, Spirit Island, and Horizons of Spirit Island. They're all available on Steam, iOS, and Android devices. One Deck Dungeon is also available on Switch, and One Deck Galaxy is in active development. Follow our live streams at twitch.tv/Handelabra Games or watch our VODs on YouTube at Handelabra. Follow me at twitch.tv/Logic Dolphin if you'd like to see my personal streams. Other than that, I don't have much going on. So have a good one. Oh, also check out the other streams. I should mention that. Other streams on this channel. We have Handelabra Live every Tuesday at 7 p.m. with John. We have Dolphins Dive every Thursday at 7 p.m. with myself. We have Luck of the Seamus every Friday at 4 p.m. with Seamus the Hug Monster, as well as Spirit Island Sundays every Sunday at 1 p.m. with usually myself and usually Seamus. All right, guys. Have a good Sunday. Peace.